presentas, ¿verdad?
Dime.
¿Tú haces la presentación?
No, tú la haces.
Oh, okay. Listo. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for participating in Full Protections webinar for Honeywell Vista fire products. This is a quick review of one of our fire panels that we distribute through Full Protection in Caribbean and Latin America. Let me start by addressing this is a cost-effective panel that, that goes out of the unconventional way of protecting assets, where you save money in terms of SLC loops, works perfectly in more than 80% of the commercial market, do a lot of wireless products that will work, and they're actually fire-rated products. The panel itself comes with 2 NAC supervised circuits, has a triple-way form of communication, and this is something that we actually have gone through hotels, insurance buildings, and the most important part is that this panel is recognized under the UL Underwriters Laboratories, as well the Edison Testing Laboratories, or ETL, as well the FCC and the FM Mutual, which are certificates that give a value of the panel that it's a panel that will work into the fire industry. The industry itself, it keeps moving. Also, it goes in terms of being multifaceted in terms of what you're going to offer to the customers. Instead of security, we can also offer fire within these multiple solutions of panels themselves. We have, like I mentioned, large variety of products that convert the panel into a UL fire product panel. So the most important part is when you're going to use a wire panel or a wire sensor, if you want to convert it into wireless, we have to use a specific transmitters that comply with the UL, ETA mandate, and NFPA to make it completely wireless. In this case, we use the 5817 CV that convert any initial device into a fire panel itself. Another feature that our fire turbo panels or Vista fire turbo panels have is the availability that we can communicate via the standard phone line, communicate through the GSM or cellular, and as well internet through the iGSM CF communication unit for fire applications. So this is a superior communication offering that we've been migrating through the years, and as we move over through Latin America and Caribbean, we start expanding our platform of communication of encrypted alarm channeling. So this is products that are completely NFPA, UL, FCC approved for fire installations, especially with a triple path through one specific panel. In terms of what else we can do with our fire panels, one of the benefits that we have is we can not only expand through regular modules, but we can provide what we call our 2-wire signal circuit called VPLEX. We call it VPLEX, and we have sensors that actually are addressable. So we know the serial number, we know when the specific smoke detector or heat detector or beam detector will trigger off within the panel. So we know where they're going to be located themselves. So this will provide the installer the same ability to provide an addressable system to compete into the small mid-range market, like in shopping centers, or small buildings, or small hotels across the Caribbean, Central America, South America. Within them, we have a variety of sensors that will allow the panel to work in an addressable way. We have the 4297 module. This module, basically what it does, it will allow to expand the signal from the sensors to the panels in runs over 3,000 feet. We also have the isolator, so we can isolate loops in terms of this a faulty unit, so you will know where exactly these faulty sensors are at. As well, we have what we call the fire commercial panels expander zones that expand the alarm zones in 8 zones groupings. And then we have the addressable the smoke detectors, addressable combination of smoke heat detectors, as well addressable heat detectors themselves. Another thing that we do, we have the 4101 SN, the 4293 FMP, and the 4190 SN. Those basically are converting units from a standard initialized devices into an addressable unit. So if you don't have an addressable standard full station, like the 5140 MPS from Ademco or Honeywell, which is a generic full station, you can convert into an addressable using one of these devices through the alarm panel. So you know specifically where this alarm panel will go. In terms of one of the sensors that also we add up into the family of commercial is the VPLEX VSI. And this device basically isolates and detects where the fault units will be. Basically, complete and resisted data loop short circuit conditions. This feature helps installers or service specialists to locate the circuit that have a problem. So you don't have to spend hours looking for sensors that have an issue. Also, when there's an overload power loss, the expansion modules will be able to detect where, to protect the panel for getting extra additional notifications and create what we call a loop of inoperability and avoid the panel to continue to work. So this is a great feature. This is an idea or where you can do with the commercial panel VSI unit will be. So basically, in this installation, we're looking at 4 loops actually. And at the beginning of each loop, you can put one of these devices to actually control and protect the panel and protect the loops, and it identifies when the devices goes bad. And like that, you can have the entire panel working and loops and just bypass one of the specific zones until they require specific service. This VSI module comes with a LED that actually will go on and will turn on when the panel has a short or detects the data loop overload circuit into it. Another advantage of these sensors is they maintain the majority of the system operations when the segments fail. That's what I mentioned before, as well reduce the troubleshooting closings and saving time on service calls. One of the things also, it will maintain the panel working correctly while probably one loop or one section of the loop is off. Another thing that we do with the Vista panels, commercial panels, is that they're compatible with 12 volt or 24 volt power supplies, NAC compatibility. So you can use electronics small power supplies for the NACs, or you can use a Firelight, power supply or solid night power supply. As well, you can use a synchronized protocols or system sensor in order to work with the panel in terms of strobes and horns. In terms of annunciators, we have the 6260 CR-2. This is a commercial fire annunciator, UL9 approved, UL, where we separate the NACs for fire and wiring for fire aside from the ones from security. So saying that, I'll recall majority of our commercial panels, I wanted to bring this up to the table, is they have the capability to do also intrusion. And majority or all our commercial fire panels, they actually register into the UL laboratory of the United States, and ETL has a fire alarm panels that can do security. Reason why you see the little section here in blue for the security initiation of the panel. Another thing that I wanted to bring aboard is our panels don't look, you know, like a standard fire panel. You can actually have this annunciator put into the panel, or they can be away from the panel. And in order to maintain the UL standard of fire alarm panels, you can put the keypad up to 20 feet away from the panel, so you can also monitor the keypad away from the panel itself. These panels will do the testing of the devices themselves. So this will save you money and time in terms of the testing of every sensors that you're going to have out there. So we have the wired version, which is the 5193 and the 5193 SDT with the heat detector built in. As well, we can do it with the wireless detectors. So when we have a sensor that needs service, like cleaning the chamber, or requires a battery change, or it's a ground fault, immediately our panel will advise you of the immediate service that you require from it. The ground fault supervision. Every zone input that connects to the fire initialized device must be isolated from the earth ground and must report when the ground faults occurred. So these devices, which is we call it the ISO, help the trooper fire panels to provide, you know, they have the isolations required to have no fault supervisions. So on board, we have the input for every addressable zone input that the panel may have. So this is another great feature that the panel have in terms of notification. In terms of notification themselves, like horns, strobes, we're compatible with all the system sensor standard lines, the L series. We have the 2 NAC circuits built into the panel, so it's easy for you to run the panel, the power out of the panel. And as well, you can use the 24 12 volts additional power supplies away from the panel if required by you. One of the things that we're doing is moving into the next form of communication, which is being approved by Honeywell through the years, which is the standard GSM communication through the network of AlarmNet. And I invite each one of you of reach out to us when to talk to your sales representative of Full Protection to learn more about AlarmNet. We can do outside presentations of what AlarmNet does. In this case, on the fire solution, What we do for AlarmNet is notification via email and text, as well as secure encrypted communication from the customer's facilities through your central station via cellular themselves. So our panels will be able to communicate via the ECP relay mode or triggering in order to have the full data of the panel that will be connected through the ECP bus of the panel. So you will be able to actually receive data from the panel, but you can also go back into the panel and program the panel remotely, for a small programming remotely, per se. So the fire alarm panels are compatible also with the high security communicators, like the IPG SMDP. These panels are UL listed, like Silent Night, FireLight. So we have the dialer capture model or internet primary communication built in within the panels. So this will avoid for the the headache of being attached to your standard phone lines, where you require some headaches of VoIP. So just going through the VoIP and give the service required for the panel, it will take time and money away from you. Have a central station that has been installed. So we can provide these communicators in order to save you money, and we'll provide the two dual path communications required as a fire panel may need. Here's a quick example, and this is just has an example purposes. What is the difference between a fire panel communicating via phone line and landline? So if you have 1,000 fire systems out there with dual phone lines, most likely you're going to end up paying almost $60,000 in phone lines. And this is just a US example for a central station. That's almost $720,000 a year in terms of communication alone. With that, we just save a lot of money just avoiding these expenses, going and adding this unit that will permit internet and secondary communication at a lower cost. So what we can offer for you as a product that is available through Full Protection. We have 3 different flavors in terms of panels. We have the Vista 32, we have the Vista 128, and the 250. Each one basically will hold the amount of sensors or devices that the number that we're showing on the screen will provide you. Like the Vista 32 will give you up to 32 wireless or wire devices. On the Vista 28 or 250, we'll do the same. We can hold up to 128 devices. And on the 250, up to 250 devices. The difference is obviously on the size of the panel, of the installation, the memory lock, and another thing that we wanted to do is the class inputs that we can put into the panel. So we can put even 2 wire smoke detectors in these panels as well. We will be able to reset the smoke detectors directly from the panel. On the Vistas, we can go from a range of 24 inputs all the way to 242 devices, discounting that you have 8 hardwired zones built into the panel. So keep in mind that we can give you a fully addressable panel as well, fully wireless alarm panel built in. So you can do small installations up to maybe 1,000 feet all the way to 6,000 feet. And we have done buildings of 8 floors, small airports in the Caribbean, as well as small airports or seaports in Central America with this type of panel. On the ECP bus and next, All these panels comes with the expander modules on the themselves. We have what we call the Fire Commander Center. You will be able to control everything from the keypad. And we have the short circuit isolator built in within the panel. So every single ECP distance, you can move up to 2,000 feet away from the panel itself. Power supply, the power generated by the panel, up to 1 ampere. And the type of communicators, basically, we are compatible with every single communicator that we have from Honeywell to transmit alarms, in addition to the standard POTS line or dual supervised communicators that come with the panel itself. So what are we offering? Is we create an entire, ecosystem within your needs, where we have the fire alarm panel. We have your power supplies for your NAC circuits, complemented by the Honeywell 4111 cables, the full protection can supply. We can create grouping zones in Class B and Class A using the 4208 SNF. We can do also the grouping to wire loop detectors. And we can expand the 4297 will give us up to 2,000 feet more on the same wire data connectivity to the rest of the loops and devices within the same addressable loop. In terms of communication, we can go with the IP or GSM units. We can transmit data using our commercial receivers that will enable the panel to be a fully UL panels. So if your countries, they're not required to go fully UL, yeah, you can use the standard Honeywell receivers. But if it is a commercial installation, like a bank, like a hotel, like a shopping center, where the insurance requires you to have a fully fire panel and that it's approved by Go Wireless, then you will have to have the commercial receiver. As long as you have the commercial receivers, you will be able to have up to, or as many you need, wireless repeaters that can complete the entire 2,000 feet away from the panels wireless devices. And then we have a family of detectors like a carbon monoxide detectors, heat detectors, and smoke detectors, and wireless transmitters using the 5817 CVs transmitters themselves. So how do we order these panels? We just order it through these simple part numbers. They're available for protection. I would say probably 99% of the time they have a stock in their warehouse. Their components are easily found into their stock. This is a list of products that it will be able to be used or share in order for you to build an entire system. Depending on the installations, you may require some of them, sometimes all, or sometimes you don't need only a few of them. The advantage of this is because the panel is fully what we call addressable from the point one. Obviously, the panel you will require the annunciator, the 6160CR-2, and then you need the additional devices in terms of communication. Depends on your specific needs. And when it comes to the GSM IP communicator, I encourage you to talk to your sales rep, like Michelle, Carlos, Miguel, Giovanni, in terms of what is the needs for your specific country in order to have proper communication towards your central station. This is a list of devices that you will require. We have on the wireless side, the wireless receivers, the 5181E and HC, 5883H, 5808W3, and we have all the way to carbon monoxide detectors used a lot in the small hotels or motels. As well, a lot of the 5809 heat detectors used in a lot of kitchens, electrical rooms, and obviously the STAR, the 5816 7CV, which actually will make any hardwired device into a wireless UL fire transmitter unit. Again, we put in the URL or web link to double check, but just to give you a peace of mind of what we presenting to you guys in this presentation is these panels are, again, fully UL listed, CFM listed, FM approved, FCC approved, and basically will feed 80% of every single commercial application that you look into the market. One of the advantages is if you are into what we call integration market or commercial integration market, our panels will be able to actually talk to the products of Honeywell Building Solutions, such as it will be able to integrate with access control products, such as WinPack control software suite, and it will be able, per se, to integrate with their video solutions into one whole platform. In terms of complements to these solutions, we have what we call AlarmNet Total Connect video product solutions that will allow you to actually have like a remote view of what's going on, visualizing the local installation, but it will now be a complement or UL approved for fire in terms of your needs. This is a small, quick comparison, very simple. So if you go into a standard fire panel out there in the market right now, you have to add up additional interface modules in terms of auto-fire devices or addressable devices. That means that you are going to be adding additional costs for your panel, third party, compared to a Honeywell one. Basically, we can connect directly to the panel. We have up to 8 zones built in. You can go directly to the panel with what we call our VPLEX 2-wire loop connectivity, and remotely have all the panels being, all the sensors, sorry, fully addressable. So there's no comparison in that part or in that need for the requirement. This is all I have to share with you. This is a quick, juicy presentation, but I'm not quite sure, Andrea, if we are able to open the mics for any questions that the attendees may have in order to assist them and clear any doubts.
No, Rodrigo, no question.
Okay. I'll do invite all the attendees to reach out to full protection sales teams that they really work close to us in terms of designs, needs, questions, and specifications in the region, in terms of what you can use, what you need. We're very open to work with them. We are very close. If you come here to Miami, Florida, we're actually a few blocks away from them. Hopefully this new product or this solution that probably sometimes is overseas, full protection can provide it to you in terms of provide an affordable and very functional solution to meet a small market commercial that you find out there in the Caribbean, Central America, or South America. So I invite you to reach out to Full Protection. Andrea and Full Protection team will later on send you a survey and some recognition to be part of the webinar. But the most important one, feel free to reach out to us. My email address is rodrigo.mena@honeywell.com. Let me spell that for you. It's rodrigo.mena@honeywell.com. So feel free to write me up if you have any questions. We can work together with Food Protection in terms of building a bill of material or understanding your need or your question or doubts for your presentation to your end customers or customers. With that, I'll do thank you Food Protection for your time. I'll do thank you to be part of this quick webinar from Food Protection, and we'll look forward for hearing from you if you have any questions in the near future. Thank you for your attendance.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your assistance. Thank you, Rodrigo.